Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Idham Bakri from class KBA 2732B. Today I will present a case study based on the documentary video of the 2017 Wannacry cyber attack. To start my presentation, let's look at the executive summary. First, to understand this case, we must understand hackers. As shown in the documentary, hackers use their technical skills to manipulate digital systems. They are divided into two groups based on their intent. Black hats who are criminal actors seeking money and white hats who are ethical hackers that protect system. The documentary highlights the Wannacry incident as a perfect example of this conflict. In 2017, a massive global crisis happened when a destructive crypto worm held data hostage around the world. This chaos was caused by a black hat criminal. However, the attack was later stopped by a brilliant white hat researcher who found the key switch. Moving on to the introduction, my case study is strictly based on the documentary video titled Wannacry, the world's largest ransomware attack. This documentary is highly important for three main reasons. First, it exposes real-world hacking technologies that are actually used by cyber criminals. Second, it highlights the dangerous impact of cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, showing how it can freeze public services. Furthermore, the video introduces us to Marcus Hutchins, also known online as Malware Touch. He is the key white hat researcher who played a major role in stopping the threat. Ultimately, this entire study focused on the global panic that started on May 12, 2017 when thousands of computers worldwide were locked instantly. Next, let's look at how the attack happened, which can be described as a global infiltration. So, what is Wannacry? As documented in the video, Wannacry is a devastating global ransomware computer worm that first swept through digital system in May 2017. It doesn't just impact one computer, it spreads like a virus from one machine to another automatically. The peak of the disaster happened on May 12, 2017. On this single day, the Wannacry ransomware encrypted and locked data across 150 countries, affecting more than 230,000 computer systems worldwide. To unlock the data, the hackers demanded ransom payment between $300 to $600 paid strictly in Bitcoin. This global attack successfully paralyzed small business and government ministries alike, creating total chaos. Now that we know how big the attack was, let's find out who was actually behind the crisis. Now, let's talk about the key players in this crisis. The documentary highlights three major sides involved in the Wannacry incident. First, we have the attacker. Cybersecurity investigation strongly linked this attack to the Lazarus Group, which is a notorious hacking syndicate affiliate with North Korea. Secondly, where did the weapon come from? This is the source. The hacker didn't bullet from the sketch. They used internal glue. This was actually a leaked cyber weapon developed by the US National Security Agency NSA that was stolen and published by a mysterious group called the Shadow Brokers. Finally, we have the hero. This is Marcus Hutchins, the white hat researcher we mentioned earlier. He managed to discover a loophole in the malware codes and successfully stop the virus from replicating further. With these three elements combined, the crisis took a dramatic turn, especially for its main targets. Let's look at the biggest organization hit by this attack. Perhaps the most tragic part of this story is the target. One of the biggest victims of Wannacry was the National Health Service in the UK. The documentary showed a terrifying immediate impact. Hospitals were actively managing patient care when the breach occurred, causing massive chaos. As a result, more than 70,000 devices were encrypted and locked. Critical medical tools like MRI scanner and blood test equipment completely cannot be used, meaning doctors could not diagnose their patient. Even worse, surgery and operation had to be cancelled, and ambulances were diverted to other hospitals. This proved that a cyber attack is not just about computer, it directly endangers human life. So, how did we stop the disaster? Let's look at the famous key switch discovery. Now, let's look at how the chaos was finally stopped through a Marcus Hutchins discovery. By reverse engineering the malware's code, Hutchins found an unregistered domain hidden inside it. Out of curiosity, he purchased that domain name for just $10.69. This simple purchase accidentally triggered a hardcore kill switch built into the virus. This single action instantly stopped the virus from replicating globally, saving millions of other computers from being infected. It was a massive relief. But what happened after that? Let's see the action taken by others. Moving on to the action taken during the crisis, the documentary highlights two major immediate response. First, we look at Microsoft's response. To fight the outbreak, Microsoft took a highly unusual step by releasing an unprecedented emergency patch called MS-7101. They even pushed this update out for older legacy systems that they no longer support, like Windows XP. Secondly, law enforcement and the authorities heavily enforce the no ransom rule. They strongly advise victims not to pay the hackers. This advice was correct because in reality, almost zero victims who pay the ransom actually receive their encrypted data back. While this action helped manage the crisis, finding the criminal behind it was another story. Let's look at the challenge in the cybercrime investigation. Now, let's discuss why tracking down this cybercriminal was incredibly difficult. The documentary highlights three major investigation challenges. First, it's Bitcoin anonymity. Because cryptocurrency use a decentralized network, tracking down the actual owner of the digital wallets was nearly impossible for global police. Secondly, we face the issue of jurisdiction. The attackers operate from nations that have no extradition of law enforcement cooperation with Western countries, making it hard to make arrests. Finally, there was a DDoS counterattack. To make things worse, the hacker fought back by launching a Mirai bonnet attack to completely knock out and crash the key switch domain. Now, let's deep dive into our core discussion point. Based on the documentary, we can analyze the Wannacry crisis through the five critical angles. First, there was a systematic failure in patch management. Many organizations completely ignored the critical security updates released by Microsoft. Secondly, it showed a weak corporate security culture where companies did not prioritize cybersecurity until it was too late. Thirdly, we have the cryptocurrency anonymity hurdle, which protected the hackers' identities during the ransom demand. Fourth, the crisis was slowed down by a massive jurisdiction and legal challenge across different borders. Finally, this case highlights the terrifying dangers of state-sponsored cyber weapons being leaked into the wrong hands. This discussion point brings us to the final part of my presentation. Let's look at the conclusion and takeaways. To wrap my case study, the Wannacry incident has taught us several vital lessons. First, we must realize that cybersecurity is more than just an IT problem. It is a global security issue. Secondly, this attack caused a real-world damage, affecting hospital and essential service. Third, we must be proactive. Don't wait for attacks to happen before taking action. Fourth, practicing good digital hygiene like updating software regularly is our best defense. Finally, we must always stay aware because the next threat could be just one click away. That's all from me. I hope this analysis provides a clear understanding of the Wannacry crisis. Thank you for your time and attention.